Hi, today I'm reviewing the Sunbum Mineral Face Sunscreen with SPF 30. And really quick, I just want to say, purchase these products with my own money. So if you want to help keep the channel independent, check out my products at nobsbeauty.com or click on the Amazon link below. So, last year, I believe around this time, I reviewed the Sunbum Face Sunscreen, which I believe was SPF 50. And I didn't give it the best review because it contained a preservative, which methylazosquiscone, I don't know. Check out the review. I'll link to it below. But anyway, because of that one ingredient, really ruined the whole sunscreen for me. So Sunbum came out with a few more options, including these mineral ones with a tint to it. So I definitely had to check those out. And I was pretty happy to see that they didn't include that iffy preservative in it. So now it's actually a sunscreen I can use more often. Anyway, so it's definitely a mineral sunscreen with titanium dioxide of 3.2% and zinc oxide of 1.8% with a tint to it to prevent a white cast that a lot of mineral sunscreens tend to have. So anyway, on to my review, and my first criteria is packaging, and they've done a nice job packaging this in an opaque tube, which is nice. It protects the beneficial ingredients from exposure to light and air, so they've done a nice job with that. My second criteria is alcohol, and this does not contain any denatured or drying types of alcohol, which is always a good thing. And then in terms of fragrance, this is fragrance-free, and it has no scent, so that's also a good thing. And they did quite a few things right with this one that the other one, it's a little iffy. So in terms of the manufacturing location, this is made in the U.S., so no issues with that. Ease of use. So I picked this up from Ulta. They were having some sunscreens on sale, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. So I picked up a lot of sunscreens in the last few weeks to try out. So when I was there, I also picked up the Australian Gold Botanical Sunscreen SPF 50, which is also tinted. I picked up the Coats sunscreen. I'll have to review that one as well. Although they've changed their package since I picked it up. And then I also picked up the Blue Lizard, which is a little different from the other three in the fact that it doesn't have a tint to it. And I'll definitely have to review that one as well. And then from Sephora, I also picked up the Supergoop sunscreen. So what I would say, other than the Blue Lizard, all four of these have in common, they all have a tint to them. And they all are a little bit fussy to use. I found all of these to be pretty thick in texture. So it requires a bit of finesse to apply without pilling, especially if you use a sunscreen, since all of these are mineral sunscreens. And they all have a tint to them, and they are all a little bit fussy to use. That's the main kind of connection between all three of them. And so let me get back to the Sunbum one. It definitely takes a little bit of finesse to use because of the thickness to it. And it's got some good hydrating ingredients in it. But to apply it without pilling, especially if you use a foundation over it, was a little bit iffy, especially if you tend to use a lot of other products underneath it. So I tend to I'll rinse my face off in the morning, then I'll put a serum on, then a vitamin C serum, and then a moisturizer, and then the sunscreen. And then since the tint is okay, but it's not necessarily good enough for like an average day where I'm going to be out and about and things like that, I still go with a foundation over it. So it is a little bit fussy to apply to prevent pilling, especially with so many layers. So that was my main issue for this, because it does tend to pill at times, and it's got a lot of hydrating ingredients as well, which can make that happen even more. So, but overall, it dries to a nice matte finish. So if you have oily skin, I can see you could probably appreciate this as well, as much as someone with drier skin, because it does set to a nice matte finish. Although pilling can be a bit of an issue. So just something to keep in mind. So then on to my sixth criteria, which is antioxidants and beneficial ingredients. This one has some good ones in here, some good hydrating ingredients: cucumber, shea butter, evening primrose oil, linseed oil, and then rosehip oil. So it's got some good hydrating ingredients in there, and then some other ingredients which kind of give it a matte finish as well. So some silicones, which can be iffy for some people. So, but they did a good job including other beneficial ingredients and didn't include that preservative that I didn't like from their first sunscreen. So that's nice to see. My 7th criteria is animal testing, and this sunscreen is cruelty-free as well as vegan, so that's always nice to see. In terms of performance, I found myself using this specifically on days where I wanted a good sunscreen that's water resistant, days where I wasn't going to be out all day, but days where I might be going to the gym or sweating more, or maybe days I go out on the boat where I might get a little bit of water splash. So it is water resistant for, I think it was 40 minutes, so that's a good thing. Although I do kind of wish it would have been an SPF 50 because that would have been a perfect sunscreen for days where I was outside a lot more. But anyway, so that's nice to see. I have super sensitive dry skin though. And for me, I found I was not able to use this sunscreen several days in a row because my skin would start to get kind of irritated from it. And I'm not exactly certain which specific ingredient it is or if it's just the texture of this one. So personally, I can use this maybe once or twice a week, but not several days in a row. So definitely not going to be an HG sunscreen for me because of that. So I'm thinking it's the Isopropyl Myristate or the Evening Primrose Oil or the synthetic wax, which can all be a little iffy for those with sensitive or acne-prone skin. But otherwise, in terms of performance, it'll certainly help you from getting burnt. But if you're going to be outside a lot, make sure to reapply. And then this one isn't the most aesthetically pleasing to reapply because of the texture, especially with some of the pilling issues. So that's why I prefer to use it on days where I'm not outside enough that I find myself needing to reapply. So anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts on the performance. It's okay. It just depends on your skin type. Those with more oily, non-acne prone, non-sensitive skin will probably like it a bit more. And then my 9th criteria is the price, and this is the full size, which is 1.7 ounces. And it sells for retail of $17.99, although always check for sales. I was able to get it, I think, for like $13. So it's worth doing a little bit of Googling before you pick it up. The price is decent, especially compared to other more prestige brands of sunscreen. Decent, affordable sunscreen. So, and then my 10th criteria, which is the it factor. It's a good sunscreen, especially if you don't have very sensitive skin or acne-prone skin. A lot of people that have acne-prone skin, I've read reviews that this made them break out, which is probably from some of the silicones, perhaps, or the synthetic wax, or the Isopropyl Myristate. I'm assuming it might be the same ingredient that makes my skin feel a little sensitive after using this several days in a row. So, it's a good sunscreen. It's affordable. It's well packaged. It's fragrance-free and alcohol-free as well as cruelty-free. So it's got all that going for it. So overall, I like it, just not daily use. So, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good option. Just not necessarily the best all the time. So, you know, there's always a sunscreen for every occasion. And it just depends on, you know, how much you're going to be outside, what you're going to be doing outside. Or if you're going to be inside most of the day, then there's a better option for that too. So, anyway, overall, I gave this a 7 out of 10, which is still pretty good. So, I'm interested if you guys have had a chance to check this out, if you guys have, or if you tried any of the other sunscreens from Sunbum. What have you tried from them and how have you liked it? So definitely leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Anyway, so check out No BS Beauty. Give this video a thumbs up. And thank you guys so much.